Hello, and welcome to Feminine Emergence. I'm your host, Stephanie Briggs, and I'm thrilled to be speaking today with the lovely Jocelyn Mercado. Welcome, Jocelyn, and thank you so much for being here, part of this event today.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm so excited to be a part of your event. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Okay, so Jocelyn, I'm going to begin by reading your bio, just to introduce you to anyone here who isn't already familiar with your work. So Jocelyn Mercado is a spiritual guide for the modern world, transformational life and business coach, holistic health consultant, writer, and environmentalist. She has been a student and practitioner of indigenous wisdom and earth-based spirituality for more than 9 years. Prior to that, she worked in finance and business for over 15 years, so she has a uniquely balanced right brain, left brain approach. Jocelyn created Sacred Planet to support people in a process of unlearning all of the rules and regulations of modern mainstream society, which no longer serve our highest good, so that we can reconnect with nature, with joy, and with the truths that we hold deep within our hearts. Jocelyn believes that at the same time as we are witnessing the systems and structures of the old modern world crumbling around us, we're collectively realizing there's an amazing opportunity at this momentous time in history to rise up together and create something entirely new that the world has never seen before. She says that each person holds a unique key to something that the world deeply needs. When we open up to those gifts and talents, to those ways we are meant to change the world that no one else can do in exactly the same way, we each have the amazing potential to bring about a bright and vibrant future for humanity and for all life on our sacred planet. And so, Jocelyn, you're going to be speaking to us today about following your dreams and passions and giving your highest level of contribution to the world. And I really can't wait to hear what you have to share about this topic, as I know it's one that is very close to your heart.
Yes. Thank you for the beautiful introduction, too.
Yeah. So to start us off, you say that so many women feel that following their dreams and passions would be selfish. Why do you bring this up?
Yes, I bring this up because this is really and truly one of the biggest things that is blocking so many women from taking action on what's really most important to them and what they're really meant to contribute to the world. So, unfortunately, in our modern society, we have been so trained, especially women have been trained to follow this plan of the modern, mainstream, consumer-driven world. And so what this means is that we're taught from a very early age that we need to do well in school, get a good job, be responsible, make sensible decisions, be a good partner, be a good parent, all of these things, right? All of these things that we have to do, that we have to live up to. We have to follow these rules. And particularly as women, part of this is that we just have an innate sense, and we also learn from an early age that we need to do everything we can to make others happy. Right? So we might stay late at our job trying to get all the work done so our boss will be happy when they come in the morning. Or we might do extra cleaning so our spouse doesn't have to worry about that. Or we might just work really, really hard to do everything we can to give our kids what they need, even when we're exhausted or sick or worn out, right? We put everyone else first. And this is what we're expected to do. We have really internalized this, and we learn it at a very early age, possibly from as early as just 2 or 3 years old. So it's very deeply rooted within us. And it's presented to us initially as a survival level need. And I'll tell you what I mean by that in a second. But, we're taught from that very young age that we need to do above and beyond at school. We need to be a good kid. Don't be too rambunctious, don't be too loud, don't be too much, all of these things. And we learn to change the way that we're acting and to kind of even alter our personality a little bit to make our parents happy, to make our teachers happy. And it's not anyone's fault, it's not our parents' fault. It's simply the way our society is structured. So it's the way that we're naturally brought up. So when I say that we are given these rules as a survival level need, it's because from the very beginning, we're given the sense that if we don't follow those rules, then our parents might not be happy with us, or our teacher will be disappointed. We might be punished, we might be shamed, And so then later on, as an adult, that continues because we fear that if we don't get a good job, if we don't fit into the crowd, if we don't look a certain way or act a certain way, we will be outcast, right? Or we'll be looked down upon or criticized. And that's really scary. So I tell you all this because I just want to reinforce how deeply seated the need is to please others, that we are just brought up with this and it stays with us throughout our lives. So it takes a lot of courage to break away from that. And that's what I want to talk about here today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I really relate to so much of what you just said. Yeah.
yeah. And I feel it so strongly. I mean, you know, it really, it affects all of us on so many levels, on all levels. So the thing is then, when we have a longing to do something that's really different, when we have a passion, when we know that there's something our soul is calling us to do, but it requires us, or it would require us, to go way outside of the lines of like all those rules, all that's accepted and what we think or what we've been told is sensible and responsible and fits the prescribed notions of what success means, then we're going to have a lot of scary thoughts come up if we consider doing that. So we're going to think things like, oh my gosh, what would people think? Everybody's going to think that I've lost my mind, you know, that I want to quit my job and start doing women's circles, or, you know, who knows what it is. Or if I did that, it would take too much time away or too much money away from my spouse and my kids and my day-to-day responsibilities. Or it would be reckless of me to spend money on something like that. Or it's, who am I to think I could even be successful at something like that, you know? So I really think that this is a crisis for us as women in this world right now. Because as I explained at the beginning, this has been so ingrained in us, so deeply set that we need to follow these rules. And yet we know in our hearts, in our souls, that we have got to start doing something different. We know that the world is not working very well as things are progressing right now, economically, politically, environmentally, on so many levels. We know we need to make huge change. And as women, we are really and truly on the front lines of that. We are the ones who are hearing the call from Mother Earth. We are the ones who are just receiving the inspiration and the insight that something big has got to change. And so we're really torn. We're really, really torn. We have this almost desperate longing to just shake everything up and do something really different. But again, it's very scary. So the next thing that's important to know is that the longings that we have and the dreams and the passions that we are feeling so strongly right now are coming to us for a reason, right? It's not a mistake. It's not that you're being selfish or just thinking about yourself too much or just wanting to go do your own thing and not care what anybody else thinks. They are coming to us because they are a gift, and they are pointing us in the direction of our soul's work. They're pointing us in the direction of our mission and our purpose here in this lifetime. So what happens then is we are caught in this gap between the life we have now, where things are sensible and reasonable and financially safe, you know, and this very, very outside of our comfort zone, but huge potential of what we could be doing and how we know that we could be making a bigger difference in the world. And we're sitting in that place. So many women all around the world are sitting in that place right now. And unfortunately, the tendency generally is to turn away from that mission, or to convince ourselves that those dreams are just not something we can pursue right now, or maybe 5 years from now I can get to that, you know. And it's primarily because we are afraid of what everyone else will think, right? Or we're afraid of what the societal or the financial implications might be of stepping out into something like that. But what we are really and truly being called to do now is to turn toward our dreams and our passions. So I want to encourage everyone listening to really see your dreams and passions for the gift that they are. Because when you respond to your gifts with a yes, And when you respond to those longings that you have within with a yes, you're going to expand your capacity to live the fullest life. And you're going to become more and more aligned with your higher purpose. And it's not just that that's going to make you happy, but following your purpose is really the number one factor that scientists and doctors are increasingly finding leads to a healthy and a happy life. So it's good for you on all levels to do this, right? As an individual, but also it's so important for our collective right now. It's not just an individual thing anymore. Because when large numbers of us start saying yes to our talents and to our longings, and when more and more people start standing up with courage and really following their purpose and their mission, that is how we're going to create a brighter future for our world.
Wow. Wow. Yes, this is so important. I'm really glad that you're sharing all of this. So what if we know that there's something else we're meant to be doing, but we can't figure out what that is?
Yes, amazing question, because there are a lot of people really, really stuck in that place right now. So for those who are listening, I'm pretty sure you are probably hearing the call that I'm talking about, right? You are receiving information and insights, or you're having dreams, or you're feeling like you've got to do something different. You want to turn away from the old ways of doing things and turn towards something completely new, right? And again, we're stuck in that place then where it's kind of unsettling, because we know that's going to require us to change probably not only our career, but maybe even our relationships or our financial situation or all these different key aspects of our life. So we need to be really, really clear on what we're meant to do before we make that leap, right? We want to make sure that it's something that is truly aligned for us. We want to make sure it's something that really is our purpose, or at least a puzzle piece of our larger purpose. And so it can be very hard to know where to begin. And it can feel impossible to know, okay, so I understand I'm not supposed to be doing this old job anymore, or I know I'm not supposed to continue with this old relationship that's no longer working, but what exactly should I be doing? So I have some ways to share with all of you out there listening on how you can move forward into your truest life, into following your purpose. So one of the big ways that is really, really important is to pay attention to your dreams. Our dreams are messages from God, or messages from a higher power, really and truly. And I'll give you a practice where you can do some journaling work with your dreams. But the first thing to address here in this category of dreams is, what if I don't remember my dreams? Or what if I don't think I have any dreams? Because that's happening for a lot of people too. So a couple things here. One is vitamin B12. And this is something that I learned from a friend who travels to the Amazon rainforest a lot. And apparently the people in the rainforest, they now know that it's vitamin B12, but they are dreaming cultures, and they eat a lot of fruits and vegetables that are very, very high in B12. And it's because they depend so entirely on their dreams to guide them in their life that they need to be very, very strong in being able to receive those dreams. So studies are now showing that vitamin B12 is critically important for your brain to be able to both, for you to be able to recall the dreams and for you to be able to remember them with clarity. And a lot of us are deficient in B12, especially if we're vegan or vegetarian, and sometimes even if we do eat meat. So that's one thing that you can do right away that will cause a big shift with you remembering your dreams, is to just start taking a normal dose of vitamin B12. It's a good supplement that all of us really need. And then a couple of things that you can do to help with the dream recall as well. One is to place a dream journal. So designate a book that's going to be your dream journal. Place it by the side of your bed with a pen. And if you wake up at all in the middle of the night and remember any little details about the dream, just jot it down. You don't want to wake yourself up too much, so just scribble something. It may not make a lot of sense to you. It's okay, because when you read it in the morning, it will trigger that and you'll be able to remember. Also, some people say that if you get some dried mugwort and put it under your pillow, that will also help you remember your dreams. There's a woman I know who wanted to work with her dreams, but couldn't remember them. She started putting mugwort under her pillow, and her husband didn't even know she had done it. And he started waking up in the middle of the night saying, oh my gosh, I had another incredible dream. So it helped both of them. So that apparently really works. But when you do start remembering your dreams, then I encourage you to do journaling work with your dreams. So here's a really good practice. When you have a dream and that you can remember pretty clearly, then set aside maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes for this journaling work. And what you want to do is choose 3 or 4 components from the dream. So it might be if you were in the dream, there might be your friend who was in the dream, there might be a dog who was in the dream, and there might be a mountain that was in the dream, right? So any 4 components that feel important to you. And what you want to do is in your journal, write down what the dream was about from each of their perspectives. This will give you insights that you never would have thought of otherwise. I bring up dreams because, as I said, they are messages from a higher power. They are meant to guide us. Many, many ancient cultures use dreams on a very practical level, just to guide them in their lives. And so I think we need to reawaken that in our lives, and we need to start doing that again because there is really important guidance there. Another thing that you can do to help you on your path to finding your purpose is to strengthen or to begin, if you don't already have one, your meditative practice. So just setting aside 10 or 15 minutes a day, or even 10 or 15 minutes every other day, to just be really quiet. And you can, if it works better for you, you can listen to a guided meditation. There are lots of those out on YouTube. I strongly recommend for anyone who's interested, shamanic journeying. It is, it can also be, it can be used as kind of an active imagination type of work where you can gain really big insights and you can ask the important questions in your life and receive the answers from a higher power or receive the answers from your guides. And so if you're interested in shamanic journeying, I highly recommend a book that is called The Co-Creation Handbook. It's really, really helpful in both. So it's a cool book because not only does it teach you beginning shamanic journeying, but it also will help you discover your life's purpose. So it's perfect. That book was amazing when I read it years and years ago. And I still recommend that to lots of people today. So the third thing that you can do is to just really open up to synchronicities and magic and unexpected opportunities, because these things are out there. They are ready to come to us. We just need to be really, really open and start expecting and trusting that they're going to come in. And they absolutely will. So just start noticing, all the beautiful things. If you step outside and a pretty little blue bird flies by, just really focus on that for a few seconds and notice the beauty of it. And maybe think about what is the message? It's not an accident that pretty little blue bird just flew like really, really close to me. It means something. And pay attention to new people that you might meet or new opportunities that you might notice. Just kind of opening up to that magic, to the synchronicities that are out there is going to do way more than you would ever expect as we open up more and more to that over the long term. And then the fourth thing that I want to share is to cultivate the voice of your intuition. Now, many of you listening may already be very, very much in touch with your intuition, and that's fantastic. And if you are already, then what I recommend is to set aside 15 minutes a day just to do what your intuition tells you to do. And you will be amazed at what you're led to. So it may be some kind of creative pursuit. It may be to read a book that you hadn't planned to read. It may be to go for a run. It may be to take a nap, if that's what you really need and your intuition is telling you just take a 15-minute nap and do that. But it can be really fun just to open up to, okay, I don't have to keep working on the to-do list right now. I'm going to set aside these 15 minutes just to do whatever my inner voice tells me to do. And chances are that you're going to be led to something that is closely aligned with your larger purpose as you do that as a daily practice. Now, if anyone out there is not able to hear the voice of your intuition, so all of the practices that I told you initially, the dreams, meditative practice, and looking for synchronicities will help to open up your intuitive voice. But another thing you can do is just as you go throughout the day, we need to make all kinds of decisions throughout the day. What am I going to eat for dinner? What should I wear? All these different little things. Instead of approaching them on a purely mental, from a purely mental standpoint, try to, when you have to make any kind of decision throughout the day, just get quiet for a second and listen for your guidance. Your inner voice wants to speak to you. It's in there. It's trying to talk to you, even if you can't hear it. So just really feel into that. So maybe hold up 2 shirts or 2 dresses and look at them each and just really feel which one makes me the happiest. Which one is my intuition telling me to go with for today? And follow that. So try to bring this in whenever you have to make little decisions. If it's like you're in the grocery store and should I buy beef broth or chicken broth? Just let your intuition answer that, Have fun with it. It can be really, really joyful. And as you do that, so much is going to open up to you because it's that inner voice that's ultimately going to give you the instructions on what your larger purpose is.
Wow, thank you so much. You've shared so many awesome tips, and I know I'm going to definitely be trying some of those out. I'm especially interested in what you said about B12, that I didn't know that, and I'm going to bookmark that one.
Yes. Yeah, that made such a huge difference for me when I found that out.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so once we've tuned in more to our intuitive voice and we feel clear on what we want to do next, how can we actually step away from the structures that have held us in place and take action toward our dreams?
Yeah, really, really good question. So again, I have 4 steps for this. I have 4 steps to share with you. And the important overarching thing to keep in mind here is that this is going to be a gradual process. This is an evolutionary process, right? This is the evolution of you moving away from the things that have kept you stuck and into this more expansive place, a place of more freedom where you are really, really aligned with your larger purpose. So it's not going to all happen at one time. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. You don't have to tell your family and friends you're doing this whole new thing, all at one time. It can happen gradually. So the first step of the 4 that I want to share with you is to create your personal vision statement. This is a really powerful practice. And the way that you do this is so I recommend starting with just a single sheet of paper. And at the top of the sheet of paper, write a date that's 1 year from today. Okay. So if you're writing it on September 1st, 2017 or 2018, you would write at the top of your page, today is September 1st, 2019. Okay. And then you would write an I am and go on and list on that sheet of paper in present tense all of the things that you most deeply desire to start doing or to bring into your life. Now, it's really good when you go to do this if you can kind of get into a meditative state first, right? So either meditate or do a shamanic journey first or listen to a guided meditation so you can be in this really, really deep connected place as you write out all the things that you want to bring into your life. And these don't just have to be, like career or purpose related, although those are important. I usually put those first on the statement, but it can also be about your health. Do you want to eat better? Do you want to exercise more? It can be about your relationships. It can be about a relationship that you want to find. It can be about your family. So write down, again, in present tense. Very important that everything is in present tense, like I am doing this, I am enjoying that, okay? But write down everything that comes to you. Just allow it to flow to you. Write it all down. And then you want to end the page with a statement of gratitude to God or goddess or great mystery or whatever divine presence you speak with, and any special guides or angels that you have. And you want to keep this sheet of paper by your bedside, and you want to read it 1 time every day. That doesn't have to take a long time. I recommend not making it longer than one sheet of paper because then it'll be like too overwhelming. You won't read it, right? But you want to read it one time every day. And the most powerful times to read it are either when you first wake up in the morning or right before you go to bed at night. So just make it a quick part of your routine. It should only take 2 or 3 minutes. And this is so powerful because you're going to be reading this every single day. You're going to be telling yourself, I am already doing all of these amazing things that I know are good for me and that are going to change my life in beautiful ways. So this has a really strong effect on your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the part that kind of clings to those old beliefs and old rules that hold us back. But you're going to be telling your subconscious every single day, those things are not true anymore. This is the life I'm living. And you will be amazed that your reality and the way that you react to things and the thoughts that you have and the words that you say will start to shift and change very gradually to be more and more in alignment with that vision statement. So it's really beautiful. Highly, highly recommend that everybody give this a try. Okay, so the second step, once you have your vision statement written, is to choose one item on that vision statement that you want to begin with and choose a decisive action that you can take to work toward that goal. Now, this can be something very, very small. It doesn't have to be huge. Believe me, you'll be, as you continue with this process that I'm going to share, you will move on to bigger and bigger things. So it's really good to start small and accomplish little small things at the beginning and get your confidence built up, before you move on to bigger things. So, for example, it may be to sign up for a training program. If you want to become a coach, for example, maybe to start shopping around for a training program that can help you move toward that. If you want to improve the health of your family by eating more local food, it may be to plant a couple herbs in some containers around your home, right? So you can choose any action that feels really joyful to you, that feels like it will just really make you happy, not be overwhelming, just something that will really make you happy. And take that action and complete that action, okay? If you want to start out with something bigger, that's fantastic, So as an example of something a little bit bigger that you could do, let's say maybe something on your vision statement is that you want to start holding women's retreats, right? So maybe as a beginning step to that, maybe you're not ready to hold retreats yet, but maybe you could start a women's circle in your local community, so that's just another idea. But really, read through your vision statement and pick something that's on there that you're so excited about and just take one little action step toward that. It will light you up, it will boost your confidence, and it'll be really, really fun. So then once you are working on taking that one decisive action, again, the next step, which I've kind of mentioned earlier, but this is just so important, is to really bring in trust and to really be open to synchronicities and new possibilities that may come through to you. So they may come in physical form, like somebody offering you a new job, or they may come through as an insight where you realize, oh my gosh, I could build on that action step by also doing this, and that would make me so happy, right? So just be open to new possibilities coming in. Because through the first 2 steps, your vision statement and then taking the first action, you have made a bold statement to the universe that you are ready for change, that you are welcoming new things into your life. And so the universe is going to respond to you. The universe is going to start sending you new things and new opportunities, new synchronicities. And so trust. That is the most important thing. Now, be patient too, because the timing, we have our idea of in human timing of when we think things should happen. And sometimes the universe knows that it needs to take a little bit longer to all be in divine timing. So be patient too. Don't feel like something has to happen 2 days from now or else it's a failure. Just really be open to whatever wants to come through, relax into it, take joy in your action, and trust. So the 4th step then is to continue following the golden threads. I like to call I like to speak about it as the golden threads, because it's like when you take one action, it will lead you to the next action. Or when you experience a synchronicity and really recognize it and kind of respond to it. Like if somebody says to you, hey, I know you're not happy at your job and this new opportunity just opened up where I'm working. Would you like to check it out? Like go for that. Just check it out. See if it's right for you. Start responding to these new possibilities that are coming in. And you're going to be led on new steps that you never even imagined. So really follow where you're being led on your journey. Again, it may happen in a very concrete way like that, or it may happen in a more insightful or imaginal way where you have a new idea that you never had before. So when that happens, take action on that too. Just be really, really open. And if you complete your first action step and you feel like nothing big is happening yet, or even if you fail at your first action step, which that may happen because it may have not been the right thing, it may have not been in the right timing for you right now, don't be discouraged. Just circle back and choose a different action. Look at your vision statement again and choose a different small or medium or large action step that you can take and try again. Okay, because when we're on the right path, things will always open up for us. Sometimes we start out a little bit on the wrong path and then the universe doesn't encourage us to go farther because we really it would be better for us to be over here on this path. So again, it's really about trust, but follow those golden threads, follow where you are being led, and be excited about what's coming next. Above all, with all of this, have courage. Have courage, because you may be asked or inspired to step way outside of your comfort zone. And if that happens, then dare to do it. Dare to be different than all the rest of the people out there. It takes real true courage to stop following these false societal rules, right? It takes courage to do what you know in your heart is right for you. But the people who have the courage and who take those action steps that are kind of scary are the ones who really are changing the world. And you can be one of those too. We need you to be one of those too. So really have courage and do what might feel a little scary for you.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so beautiful. And I'm really hearing you say how important it is to not give up and to continue on the journey, even when it feels really hard. And I can definitely relate to that and how challenging it can be at times, but it's so worthwhile. And so as we're envisioning our lives and how we'd like it to be, could you share a little bit about the balance of the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine that we need to find in our lives?
Yes, definitely. This is so important as we talk about receiving the insights, opening up to the synchronicities, and taking action. Okay, because the sacred feminine aspects have been so pushed down and shamed in many cases and downplayed in our society, okay? And the sacred feminine pieces are doing the meditative work, spending time in solitude to really reflect and receive the insights and receive the information, opening up to the magic, opening up to the synchronicities. All of those things have been really frowned upon, in a large way in our mainstream society. And what is emphasized is this, endless growth, taking action all the time, putting money at the forefront, okay? And the way that it has been created in our society is kind of masculine, but it's not the sacred masculine by any means, right? But it's kind of this distorted masculine of like, go, 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 action, 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 rise to the top, have to be successful, have to be on at every moment. And that is a surefire way to burnout. So we have got to find a good balance between both of those two, okay? So, and in fact, not that distorted masculine, but the sacred masculine, which the sacred masculine is about taking action in service to the greater good, taking action in service to the insights that are received by the feminine. Okay. So the way that you can put this into action in your own life is to be really, really aware of how you're feeling. So if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling worn out, which is pretty likely these days for most of us, really pay attention to that, because it may be the case that you've been, really caught up in this distorted masculine version of the world where it's just taking action all the time, no time for rest, no time for meditation or sleep or whatever. And before you start doing any of this work, before you start taking those decisive action steps, you may need to recharge and rejuvenate and just really spend time in a meditative practice, or just take a lot of naps and get caught up on your sleep, really and truly, before the insights will be ready to come through to you. So we need to bring the sacred feminine back in to our lives in this way. We need to really make time for solitude. I know as a mom with two pretty young kids, my kids are 4 and 7 years old, I deeply, deeply need time for solitude. So I have, really I learned it kind of the hard way, because I was trying to do everything and I was really exhausting myself, that I need for my mom or my kid's dad to just take the kids for a day sometimes, because I need that time to just be out in nature, or to be journaling, or to be sleeping in some cases. And that is restoring the balance on the sacred feminine in my life, where I can just be, and where I can relax and recharge and rejuvenate myself. Because then when I take the time to do that, the insights and the meditations and everything flows so much more beautifully, and I am better able to offer my full contribution to the world. And then, so once we've restored the sacred feminine into our lives, then we also need to restore the sacred masculine, because that go, 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 profit and success world is not the sacred masculine. So the sacred masculine is about looking at what we have received when we were in that feminine place. So looking at the insights that we've gotten, looking at that vision statement. That vision statement is just a beautiful example of what we can create from our sacred feminine side, because it's kind of, it's like, okay, if I look into my future and I look into my heart, what is it that I really want to create? What is it that I really want to become? Okay, so looking at that beautiful sacred feminine vision that you've created and saying, okay, what actions can I take that will be aligned with my energy levels, that will be aligned with my gifts and talents, that will be in service to something on that vision statement, that will be in service to carrying it out. So yes, we need to approach things from a more gentle way with both the masculine and the feminine sides of ourselves. And we're going to find that once we make that a regular part of our lives, and once we really try to come from that place of sacred feminine, when we need to go into the mystery, go within and get the vision, and sacred masculine when we need to take action, everything's going to feel so much better. Everything's going to flow so much more easily. You will have way more energy for what you need to do. So that is just critically important to this whole conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing a little more insight about that. And so on our journey, it is really important for us as well to have our connections to those around us. So can you share a little bit about how we can communicate our new path and some of the needs that we might have around that to family and friends who may not understand?
Yes. So this is really difficult sometimes. I know in my life, I have certain family members who I was always really close to, who don't understand what I'm doing. They don't get it. They don't like it, right? This new path that I've been on for the past 8 or 9 years. And so it's been really tricky. So what I recommend is, first of all, know in your heart that the most important thing you have to do is be true to yourself. You've got to be true to yourself, because you have these gifts and talents that you're meant to bring to the world. you have something that the world deeply, deeply needs. You have a special key to something that you're meant to bring forth, okay? And that is your highest calling. And these longings and passions, of course, are meant to bring you into alignment with that. So you've got to listen to that. And you've got to know that there will be naysayers. And when there are, don't let it stop you. Don't let it stop you from your sacred mission. Now, as far as how to communicate what you're doing to your family and friends who may or may not understand, so the best thing that you can do is to find ways that they might be able to relate to it. Okay, so I know, so my mom, for example, I'll give this as one example. My mom is very Catholic, right? And we were raised Catholic. And so she's not resistant to what I do, but it's very different from what she has known, right, all her life. But she loves nature and she loves animals. And so I have connected with her on that level about my work. So I've connected with her on the level of, being kind to the earth, right? And so it's been very interesting to me that she has become really interested in connecting with her power animals. Like that's a place that she could really, really, really relate to and just enjoys. And so now she'll talk to me about her power animals and that she, saw a giraffe yesterday, in her meditation. And so she's just opening up to all these new things. And she was certainly willing, right? But it was also about connecting with her on a level that she could really relate to. Because if we approached it from the nature-based versus Catholic standpoint, it wouldn't have gone as well. So try to look for ways that they will be able to relate to what you're doing, to what your new path is, and present it in that way first. And be very understanding with them and know that, you are the one that's shaking things up here a little bit. You are the one that's chosen and having the courage to go outside of your comfort zone. And that is going to take them out of their comfort zone. But be really patient with them because you are a way shower. Right? You are on the front lines. You are kind of bringing in the new energies here into your family and into your circle of friends. So be really patient with them because a lot of them are going to definitely open up to it. And a lot of them, you're going to actually be helping them on their journey because as you kind of gently share a little bit more and a little bit more, they're going to open up to these new ideas. And that's going to be really beautiful. Now, if there are people who are harsh with you, or just really openly criticizing you or trying to undermine you in following your dreams, I would really strongly think about whether you need that person to be in your life. Because again, your sacred mission and what is true to yourself in your heart is the absolute most important thing. And if somebody's going to be criticizing and be really negative about that, then I don't know that they have your best interest in mind. Your true friends and your family members who really love you are going to try to see things your way because they love you. And if somebody's not able to do that, then I would really question it. And this is a time, as we open up to these new things, this is a time of great change in our lives. And there have been relationships I know in my life that I've had to say goodbye to because I could just, that I could tell that the person wasn't willing to be open and wasn't willing to even consider things from my point of view. And you don't need that kind of negativity. So really take good care of yourself in that way. I'll give you one more example from my own life of a tough situation. So my sister is very, very against everything that I'm doing. She thinks it's bad. And she's very, very kind of a religious belief that is at complete odds with kind of like the shamanic perspective, right? So we had some really heated conversations, right? Where we definitely found out that we do not agree with each other at all. And we have kind of called a truce and we have said, we're going to each respect each other for our viewpoints and we're really not going to talk about it anymore. And we're going to just talk about the things that we do have in common, like our kids and our family members and other things like that. So when it's a family member, you may need to come to that kind of an agreement, right? And that's really hard. I'm still struggling with that with my sister, because she and I have always been very close. But we just cannot see eye to eye on this particular thing. So it's certainly a very case-by-case basis how you handle each of the different important people in your life as you're starting this new thing. One more thing I'll say, which I think is really important too, is that you want to wait until the right time. You want to wait until you are really ready to share. So as I said a little bit earlier, you don't need to go out and shout it from the rooftops right away, like, I'm going to change everything in my life, because that will scare a lot of people in your life, and they won't, or they may be worried about you, right? So this is sacred. This change that you need to make in your life is very, very sacred and special. And so I think it's good for a while, as you're getting started at the beginning, to keep it within, to let it grow within you, maybe to share it with a few of your very, very most trusted friends or family who will understand. But don't share it right away with those people who may be critical, because you can very easily get derailed, right? You can very easily get kind of thrown off into that negativity and start questioning everything about your new decisions that you're making. So be gentle with yourself too, and don't feel like you have to tell everybody right away. Just, kind of sense into when the time is right and when you're really ready to be in your strong place, and stand up for yourself before you tell the people who might be a little bit more difficult to have that conversation with.
Great, thank you. That's so helpful. And so obviously you've been through this process yourself, and I understand that you now help support other people going through this process, bringing their dreams and passions into form and out into the world. And you're actually offering our audience a really special chance to win an amazing and life-changing free gift today. Could you share with us a little bit about what that is?
Yes, absolutely. So what I'm offering as a free gift for your beautiful event is, for one person, so lots of people can submit their names. And so I will choose one winner who will receive free admission to my course, which is called The Magic of You. And it's a very, very special program for anyone who is starting out new on a new path, and who knows that they are going to be up to big things in the world, who knows that they're going to make big changes in the world. And it's to really support you in creating your new venture or your new project or your new business, whatever that may be. And so this is a 22-week program. So it's about 5.5-month program. And I will walk you through all of the steps that you need to really get clear about your vision, develop a really strong, courageous mindset that is going to serve you well. And then if you want to create a website, if you want to reach people with your new idea, all of that, we'll talk about all of that in the program. So it's going to be really fun. It's a great adventure, and it will open you up to all kinds of new possibilities. So if you would like to apply for that free spot, Stephanie will provide that information on how to fill out the application.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's such a generous and exciting offer for one of our lucky audience members. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, just check out the link below. You can fill out the application, and I wish you all the best. So before we finish up, is there anything you'd like to announce or share about any upcoming events or projects that you're working on?
Yeah, well, I just want to first of all thank you, Stephanie, for creating this amazing event. I'm so honored to be a part of it, and I just really, really thank you for creating this, because it is so deeply needed in our world. And I want to let everybody know that I am opening up just a few spots also for one-on-one coaching. So if anybody is interested, you can come to my website, which is wearesacredplanet.com, and click on Work With Me, and you can read a little bit more about how we could work together. So if you're interested in that, I welcome you to come on and check it out and see if that feels like a good fit to get you started on your journey.
Great, thank you so much. And it's just an honor for me to have you here, and I'm really glad that you joined us, and it's really just been a pleasure, Jocelyn. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie. Yes, it's been my pleasure too. Thanks.